no matter which side of the debate that you fall on, I'm sure we can all agree that pornography is a very, very controversial subject. Another area of agreement that I would hope we can all find is that pornography should not be available to people who are at least below the age of 18. Anybody who has access to this kind of adult material should be an adult. Now, many states across America have taken extra legal steps to try and make sure that people accessing the pornography websites, such as PornHub, are of age. They're trying to make sure that there is age verification in place to make sure that people who are too young cannot be accessing it. And every time they do this, PornHub pulls out of this state for what I would consider to be very dubious reasons. For instance, the most recent state which PornHub will be pulling out of is Florida, which will be pulling, and they will be pulling out on the 1st of January 2025. Now, what this is because of the fact that Florida legislature passed an age verification rule this year as part of HB3 social media bill that restricts children from social media. And what this means is that they will need ID requirements if you want to access the website. They say, for instance, Texas was blocked earlier this year, Idaho, Kansas, Kentucky, and Nebraska were blocked in July, and Oklahoma was shut out last month. They say here on this article written by the Palm Beach Post, which meant that it was joining millions of disappointed residents. And you can see in this article that I've got here, you've got the full list: Arkansas, Idaho, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Texas, Utah, and Virginia, Florida, soon to join them on the 1st of January. Now, Pornhub, whenever this happens, they always make the same statement, which is that they do not want to comply with these laws because they believe in the First Amendment rights of people and they believe in people's right to privacy. They say that what they do not want is people having to hand in their IDs so they can do something like this. As you can see here, they say Pornhub resists laws that require uploading personal information. The spokesperson largely mirrored a post on Pornhub's model community blog in July, which pointed out that the site was one of the few to comply when Louisiana passed a similar law in 2023. Their traffic from the state dropped by 80%, but according to Pornhub, the law caused users to move to pirate, illegal, or other non-compliant sites that don't ask visitors to verify their age. So they make the argument that it's actually more harmful to have these kinds of laws in place because it actually pushes more people to fringe, dodgy websites. Not bearing in mind that Pornhub itself, for a very long period of its lifespan, was a fringe, dodgy website. Obviously, it was the most visited, but also it had a ridiculous number of a ridiculous amount of exploitation material on there that had to be removed due to, I believe it was a lawsuit. But now that they say that they want to protect minors, despite the fact it took legal action for them to want to do this, they try to hide behind, well, it makes it worse if people don't visit us, ignoring the fact that being the most visited site, the most convenient place for people to find it, means that if they are unavailable in the state, then it's more than likely that people will actually just stop watching it as much if they have to jump through a load of hoops to be able to access pornography in the state. For instance, you can still use a VPN to get access to it, but the fact that people will have to use VPNs may mean that less people will watch it. And I think less people watching pornography overall is a good thing because it can really damage your mind and damage your view of sexuality. Now, despite the lampshading reasons that they always say, where they say that, oh, it's going to push more people to dodgy websites, oh, we want to protect our users' personal privacy and data, there is one hitch in this, which is that the company that owns it, I believe, is now called, as it says here, ALO. They used to be known as MindGeek, but they had a rebrand the other year. Well, around this time last year, a undercover reporter called Arden Young spoke to Michael Knowles and released some footage from undercover interviews that she had done with senior writers at MindGeek. And I want to just watch this one very quick clip because it's the most important one on the subject of age of the people accessing the site. Let's take a look.
Let's say you're 12 years old, you're still figuring out your sexuality, maybe even your gender. Wouldn't it be helpful to see not a celebration, but just like maybe a normalization of something that you think is what you want, you know? Probably helps a lot.
So he's acknowledging that the people watching his work may be 12 years old, and that his aim in writing it is to help to normalize deviant and transgressive behaviors and lifestyles for them. Not bearing in, I mean, this is all just, I mean, the most shocking thing as well, outside of the fact they're trying to normalize things, which is something we already knew, they know that the audience is far too young. They know that the audience is younger than they say they want on the website. I'm not going to claim any more, but that is what is stated outright in this clip. So do I think it's a bad thing that they're pulling out of Florida? No, I do not. I think the less access people have to this filth, the better.